Hi, and welcome to Ed Talk. This is the show that discusses educational topics that impact our schools and students here in Nevada County. I'm your host, Scott Lay, Nevada County Superintendent of Schools. With me today is Tiffany Ramirez. Tiffany, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Tiffany is one of our teachers in the special ed programs that the county runs, and also one of our teachers of the year. She's our teacher of the year, but teacher of the year, a select few in Nevada County for her exceptional work. So we're going to talk today about what is the difference between general education, special education, challenges that special education poses, things you've seen in your career, and kind of where we're going. So with that, away we're going to go. So Tiffany, again, welcome. Thank you for taking time to come down here to the studio and be with us today. First, I want to let our viewers know a little bit about yourself. So kind of give me the history of Tiffany and how did you end up here?
Well, I have taught in both general education and in special education. I started my career 6 years teaching middle school and high school Spanish.
And where was that up this way or?
That was in the Bay Area.
The Bay Area, okay.
Mm-hmm. And then I took off a period of time when I was starting my own family, and then coming back into education, I started out with subbing because we had moved at that point here to Nevada County, and I wanted to explore different areas of education. And so I started out as a substitute. And my very first day subbing was actually at TKM in the preschool STC classrooms. And I had no idea what I had signed up for because I had dressed up in dress pants and a blouse. And then I quickly learned that I was going to sit on the floor all day long.
Right. And the outfit was really not going to match the duties.
It was not. And so, but from that point forward, I just fell in love with special education and decided to go back and pursue an additional credential. And now I am.
And here you are.
One of the STC teachers.
And I know, and for our audience out there, TKM is our Terrence K. McAteer Family Resource Center. That sits at the Nevada City campus. It's right between Deer Creek School and Seven Hills School, where we have a lot of our programs and staffing. And SDC, as you and I talked, we throw acronyms out in education all the time, special day class. So with that, so you ended up here. Well, thank goodness you decided to come out of retirement for our students in Nevada County. I'm very thankful for that. And you said you have a family of your own?
I do, yes. I have 3 children, and they are ages 10, 11, and 12.
10, 11, and 12.
Yes.
All right. And where do they go?
I have 2 at Seven Hills and 1 at Union Hill.
All right.
Yes.
Very nice right there. Yeah, and that's great that being a teacher, you also have kids of your own, so you get both sides.
Absolutely.
The parent side and the teacher side, because they're very different.
They are
very different.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I would tell parents when they say, I think I'm going to homeschool. I'm like, there's a lot to being a teacher. Yeah, think about it. A lot. Try it and send the kids right back to school. Like, yep, I just want to be a parent.
Yep.
Yes, tough enough as it is.
It is too rolled.
Yes. So the subbing is what got you into special education.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
I did not know that. And so currently now you are at the Seven Hills campus.
Correct.
And this year, the year that just wrapped up, what was your assignment?
So at Seven Hills, I teach the younger set of students. And so I have 4th, 5th, and 6th grade students.
4th, 5th, and 6th, right. And how many years have you been with the county program? It's after subbing. I mean, you were sub for a while and then...
So I've done 3 years in a full-time position.
Full-time position. All
yes.
right, with that
over
there. Now, one of the things that, I wanted to talk to our audience about is what the difference is in the classrooms. A lot of people think, they don't know what to think, honestly, until you walk into a classroom and see it. So if you had to tell somebody on the street, what is the difference between a special education classroom, specifically ours, because ours is the moderate to severe students.
Right.
The students we get at the county program are those that cannot be served at a district or a charter school. Their needs are too extreme. They can't come up with modifications or interventions, so they come to the county, and on behalf of our school districts in the county, we serve those students. So what would you tell people the difference is between your classroom and, let's say, a general education 4th grade classroom that they might walk into?
Sure. So I think one of the biggest differences, and it's actually one of the things that I enjoy most about special education, is that it's much more collaborative than when you're a lone teacher in a general education classroom. Because in addition to just me, the students also have supports from paraeducators in the classroom and service providers. So those are going to be like your occupational therapists, behaviorists, speech therapists, and adaptive PE teachers. And so there are more adults working together in order to support our group of students.
Mm-hmm. And we should tell our audience that there's a continuum of services. You want a child in the least restrictive environment possible, and that's when they're at their home district, where they can be served
Correct.
with all their peers. And then it moves up. We run one of the more restrictive parts of that on the continuum, where they do need all those additional services. You said that whole team that supports the school, and the goal is always to try to get the student back to the district if possible.
Absolutely.
Because you want them with their peers, with the school, where they have their neighbors. You go to the same school they do.
Correct.
Right. And because of ours, we have to bus our students in, or parents drive them.
Yes.
To the program. Now, where do we have teachers? You're at the Seven Hills campus, and then we have a couple classes there at Seven Hills.
Yes. So we have a couple of really wonderfully supportive host districts. So we have 3 classes on the Seven Hills campus, which is Nevada City School District. We have 1 class at Scotton with the Grass Valley School District, and then 2 classes at Union Hill with the Union Hill School District.
Right. So tell our audience, what does, I would say typical, but I've coming over and haven't watched our programs. Typical is a hard word. It doesn't happen every day like that, depending on what goes on. But what would a typical day look like in your program?
Sure. So in comparison to when I taught in Gen Ed, we're working on skills that are more individualized to our students and can also look more like everyday skills. So for example, we're working on washing hands and toileting as a part of our day, eating, cleaning up after ourselves. And then we also work on academics as well, and that's highly individualized according to that student's areas of need, which is what we determine in our IEP meetings, according to the individualized education plan for each student. And we also, students are, we arrange mainstream opportunities according to that student's needs. And so each student is, their day is designed with their individual needs in mind.
Right. So it's not like you walk into a classroom and you may have 26 kids. Right. And you're all working on the 4th grade curriculum. Correct. And you're all opening your book up to chapter 2, page 48, whatever it is. Each one of your students has their own plan.
Correct.
Which is huge.
Yes.
Huge.
Yeah.
Now, also, people say, well, special education, they've only got like 8 kids in the classroom. Well, there's a reason for that. Number one, you just mentioned you've got 8 different programs going on for those students, all with special needs to get them there. What are some of the other challenges besides coming up with the curriculum for each one of those students and trying to find where are they at and making sure you're meeting those needs in their individual education plans?
So some additional factors, most of my students are non-speaking, and so we work a lot with our speech language pathologists in order to help them develop appropriate communication skills using things like AAC devices.
What's AAC?
AAC is Assisted Augmented Communication
device. Okay.
And so that looks like students typically have it on an iPad, and so they can use the program on the iPad with visuals to help express their needs and their wants. And so developing language is a big piece of what we do. And then another big piece of what we do is understanding student behavior. So we work hand in hand with a behaviorist who specializes in behavior as communication. And so many of our students have what's called a BIP, a behavior intervention plan. And so that is a really detailed, outlined plan for how we respond to student behavior.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, but one thing we've talked a little bit about before we went on air was you're also managing people. You may have 8 kids, but you could have 6 adults in the room as well as yourself.
Right.
Because a lot of our students have those 1-to-1 aids.
Yes.
Or 1-to-2. So that presents an additional layer of work, I think.
Right. There is a management piece to teaching a special education classroom because there is a group of people that you are managing on a day-to-day basis. And so, that includes even like their break schedules and lunch schedules, making sure all of that's accounted for. And so, assigning out duties throughout the day. So while I am teaching, I'm also managing a group of people.
I like to call it orchestrating, watching you in a classroom.
Orchestrating a group of people.
Orchestrating that going on. And then a classroom, we get all different size classrooms across the county, depending on what school site we're at and what size the room is. You also have assistive technology and mobility devices that can also fill a room up rather quickly.
Yes. Yeah.
And I've seen that. And so you walk into a room, you think, well, 8 kids, there could be plenty of room in there. And you're looking at it's full.
Yeah, I mean, they could have separate seating, desks, so whatever their needs, whatever needs have been identified, that would support that student, we would have that technology available to them.
And then most of the students you have in your program, you had them this year, let's say you 4, 5, 6, you've had 4, will remain with you probably, even though I know we're trying to get them back to the district, but they're quite severe needs and a lot won't get back to their district residence. And looking at that, what do we have some that in your classroom specifically that we were able to get them to a point to let them back to the district? The district could get.
We did. I had a student this year who was able to return back to his home district.
Oh, but that's really exciting for the student.
Yes, it's very exciting.
Yeah, and they miss their friends in the program, but to be back in your home district, that's pretty cool.
Yes.
As I said at the beginning, our students are either bused in, and it could be quite a distance because we serve students whether they're up in North San Juan, they could be down in South County, over the Chicago Park area. I mean, it's quite a wide area to bring these kids, and some are on the bus for quite a while.
Yes.
So it's always nice when they can go back to their district and not have to sit on the bus. But we have great bus drivers. So, looking here, some of the victories, we'll call it, that you had this year in the program. What were some of the highlights if you looked back with your students and learning and just your impressions of the past year?
Yeah. I mean, like you mentioned, I think one of the things that's most exciting is when we see our students moving into less restrictive spaces. So meaning that they need less adult support and that they get to gain more independence in the classroom. And so that can look like students going back to their home district. It can also look like decreasing some behavior services. Like, for example, the intensive individual service, which is what we call a student's one-to-one. When we're able to fade that, then it gives that student more independence throughout their day because they have less adult, not necessarily interaction because all of the adults are still there supporting them, but it's more independence for them. And then also increasing students' mainstreaming. So I had a group of students who were mainstreaming for almost half of their day, which was really exciting to see.
Which means our audience, they get to go into a classroom, sometimes most likely with an aide to help them, other times maybe not, depending on the class.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a group of students with just one paraeducator. So there was one paraeducator to 3 students, and they were able to go into some of the gen ed classes. Then they're developing relationships outside of the classroom as well and getting to interact with their gen ed peers.
Right.
Yes.
I kind of get you. I'll walk into your room and I'll see you're teaching in the list, and you know exactly when these students are going over to that classroom to mainstream, and this student's getting that service, and they're going over there, and it's like, wow, just that in itself.
I kind of think of it as a puzzle. So when I sit down and I'm looking at this schedule, it's like a puzzle because there's all these factors that I have to consider. And so I'm trying to solve the puzzle of how I can make it all work throughout the day.
Out of fit.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it.
It's a puzzle to solve.
Each piece to get it in there.
Yes.
Now, we do during the school year, we have a regular program that follows a traditional school calendar.
Yes.
But we also do extended school year in the summer, which is going on right now. And that's where we bring our kids in. Now, you're not doing, I don't think, what we call ESY, extended school year?
No, I have a really phenomenal teacher who teaches for me in the summer.
That's correct.
So that way I can stay home.
Recharge your battery, stay home with your kids.
Stay
You're
home with my
3,
kids,
get to see them. But that's fun. And in those programs, we try to make it a little more wouldn't say fun, but yeah, it's almost like a summer camp
Right.
learning vibe, so they don't regress in learning.
Right.
And I think this year we have more than we've ever had.
And they do, there's like a lot of swimming that they get to do. And I know all of my students love to swim. And so that becomes a regular part of the summer program. Yeah.
Now, to become a teacher in your position, what do you need beyond the general education credential? What extra training did you have?
So in order to be a teacher in an STC classroom, the credential that you earn is called ESN, or Extensive Support Needs. So that's what authorizes you to be a special education teacher at this level. And then here, the county, working for the Nevada County Superintendent of Schools, we receive really wonderful training. For example, we receive training called CPI, which is Crisis Prevention, Intervention. I have to remember that acronym. And that is really focused on supporting students through behavior. And so we're always looking to make connections, to understand student needs, to understand what they're communicating to us without words. Because like I mentioned before, behavior is a form of communication. And so then that helps keep, the CPI training is a tool that helps keep students and staff safe, which is our number one priority, is safety in our classrooms.
Right. So so all that training that goes on, it's not just the credential, but everything else that follows. And before we end, I wanted to talk about the Teacher of the Year, because it is so worthy for you to be our organization's Teacher of the Year and one of the finalists in the county. What is that process like? Because a lot of people don't realize there's a lot you have to do.
There was some extra homework.
Yeah, on top of everything else you're doing during the day.
Yes. So once you are nominated, then you are asked to submit some additional information to a committee that reviews all of it. So for example, I wrote a letter about what a day in my classroom is like. I recorded a video, which the team that I work with helped me, and I included them in the video because I think I really want to acknowledge the work that they do every day also, because their work allows me to be the teacher that I want to be. And so it really is a collaborative environment. So I included them in the video. And then a couple of headshots also. So,
sent in.
Yes. So putting all that information together and then getting it sent in. Yeah.
I think one of the toughest things is for our group, we have a small committee that picks out the Teacher of the Year. That's tough, because for the Teacher of the Year, we have amazing teachers here. So with that, well, we've come to the end of our show, Tiffany. Is there anything else you want to share? Tell the audience. I
think I would just love to share that many of us feel very fortunate to work for Nevada County Superintendent of Schools.
It's not a paid endorsement, by the way.
It's not. Under your leadership, and it's just been a really wonderful experience. I'm really grateful to have ended up where I did.
Yeah, well, we're really grateful we were able to hire you 3 years back and bring you in full time, especially for our students. That's great. Well, good. And one thing before we go, for the first time in I don't remember how long, funding for special education has actually increased.
It's wonderful.
Which that 34 years of education, and this is the first time we've seen a significant increase, which finally realizing in Sacramento and Washington what the needs truly are and what needs to help our students be successful.
And I do believe it is one of the fastest growing areas in education, too.
I think you're right.
Special education.
Yeah, if you go into a population with declining enrollment, you'll see general education declining, but you will not see special education declining. That's been holding the same, or in increasing population counties, outpacing general education.
Right.
So it is. Good. Yes. Well, Tiffany, again, I want to thank you for taking time to come down here and be on here. But I think it was super important for our audience to understand what the special education programs are like and how they work and why are they different. And so it's great.
Great.
So
thank you
so much. I want to thank our audience for joining us today for Ed Talk. Take care.